Aside from our previous video, there's still some information you need to know about Satin Rabbit. Behavior. If there was one thing common between the Satin Rabbit and the Havana Rabbit and a lot of other domesticated breeds of rabbits, it is that this breed is generally a well-behaved and good-natured rabbit that will not cause a lot of trouble for you and your family. The calm personality that they carry allows them to behave well in almost any kind of situation, as these rabbits almost do not misbehave in any sort of way that can make them too difficult to handle. They are not hyperactive or too curious to the point that they will make you chase them around the house. Since the Satin Rabbit is a breed that is not very difficult to take care of as far as its overall behavior is concerned, they are excellent pets to have for young and old owners alike. Even children will find them quite easy to control due to how they are generally friendly towards kids and are not very fragile or easily agitated. In the same way, first-time pet owners will find them a joy to take care of, as they are well-behaved enough and are simple pets to have for any kind of owner. The Satin Rabbit, when socialized at an early age, is not only friendly towards humans and domesticated pets alike, but is also very fond of interacting with anyone or anything it deems as friendly and harmful creatures. They are easy to socialize with for kids and older adults alike, and are not too troublesome or difficult to interact with for any kind of pet owner or friend of the owner. The Satin Rabbit might display its playful side if it has gotten used to living a life of constant interactions. It will not be too surprising for it to show its playful personality if you try to play with it using toys after letting it loose from its cage. Having it spend time outside its enclosure is not only a good way for it to stretch its legs, but is also one of the best ways for you to promote its sociable side. Satin rabbits that have been socialized well since their younger days will be quick to try to cuddle up or stay close to their owner the moment that they are allowed some time outdoors. The Satin Rabbit breed may be susceptible to litter training by using the same type of litter box that cats use. However, they are not as easily trained as cats are. But the best way of litter training them is by placing multiple litter boxes all over the room to make sure that they will know where they need to do their duty when nature calls. Eating habits. Satin rabbits seem like they need a special kind of diet to make sure that they retain the usual sheen and texture their unique coats have. However, that is anything but true, as this rabbit can actually thrive pretty well when following the usual diet that most other domesticated breeds of rabbits follow. Just imagine it as a Havana rabbit with a type of coat that looks a bit more unique. Satin rabbits should be fed with a diet that is 70% hay, which is rich in fiber and difficult to chew. Any type of rabbit needs to have a high intake of fiber to help them with their digestion problems. Moreover, since a rabbit's teeth never stop growing, allowing them to chew on hay minimizes the possibility that their teeth will overgrow. Hay should always be the Satin rabbit's primary source of nutrients. The remaining 30% of your rabbit's usual calorie intake should be made up of a combination of leafy greens, vegetables, fruits, and rabbit pellets that can be commercially bought from pet stores. Always keep an eye on the type of greens and vegetables you give your rabbit, because some of them might be harmful to your pet's health. Also, try to avoid giving your rabbit vegetables and fruits that are rich in sugars, as these pets are not well suited to digest large amounts of sugar. Try to stay on the low side of things and treat high sugar vegetables and fruits as occasional treats for your Satin Rabbit. Water. While Satin Rabbits are not very active in the sense that they will easily tire out, they still need to consistently rehydrate. Always keep a water dish close by or in their cage so that they can take a sip of water whenever they want to. Keep an eye on the water to see to it that it is clean and fresh. Always replace their water on a regular basis to minimize any kind of waterborne disease or parasite. You can also place a smaller water dish to minimize the possibility of it tilting and getting your rabbit wet. Any kind of domesticated rabbit does not like getting wet, as they easily get stressed when that happens. Cage. When housing a Satin Rabbit, you can have a choice of housing it either outdoors or indoors, because this rabbit is well adjusted to living in many different types of conditions. It really depends on your preference and on the environment you live in. When housing your Satin Rabbit outdoors, the first thing you need to consider is the type of environment you live in. Make sure that the outdoors is free of any kind of predator and that the climate is suitable enough for it. The best part of keeping your pet rabbit outdoors in a simple enclosure made out of wood and wire is that it can get a lot of sunlight and has more than enough room to stretch its legs. However, it will be much more susceptible to outdoor diseases and parasites. Housing the Satin Rabbit indoors might be the best choice for you if you want to make sure that it stays in an environment that is safe enough for it. Keep it in a cage that is at least 5 times its size. The difficulty in doing so is that the Satin Rabbit can be on the larger side of things, and it might be a bit hard for you to find a rabbit cage that is big enough to fit it. Nevertheless, the most important part here is to make sure that the cage has enough room for the rabbit to move around and stretch its legs. And speaking of its legs, Choose a cage that does not have a wired flooring because this can cause injury to your rabbit. Keeping toys in the Satin Rabbit's enclosure is not essential because it is not the most playful breed. If you want it to play, it is better to have it do so outside of its cage instead of inside. Keep the inside as free of any kind of furnishings as possible to give the rabbit the room it needs to feel free to move around as much as it wants. Availability. Satin rabbits are recognized by the ARBA and are some of the most common rabbits to find in the entire American continent. These rabbits can be found on a lot of different websites. A simple search on the internet will reveal several results. If you want to secure one, a satin rabbit from a reputable owner can cost somewhere between $50 to $100 depending on the color and on the breeder. Try not to go for a price that is drastically lower than $50 if the quality and the purity of the rabbit might come into question. Always go for satin rabbits that follow the standards set by the ARBA. Taking care of satin rabbits. Satin rabbits really are not the most difficult rabbit to take care of. They are generally very easy to master as pets because they generally follow the same kinds of health and care requirements as most other breeds of domesticated rabbits. The Satin Rabbit is actually just an offshoot of the Havana Rabbit and should be given the same kind of care as any other domesticated breed. While you may think that the Satin Rabbit needs a special kind of grooming requirement because of how unique its coat is in terms of its sheen and texture, it actually is quite the opposite. Even though it has a beautiful coat, it does not need to be groomed in a special or unique kind of way and can easily retain its sheen and texture when grooming in a similar way to any domesticated breed of rabbit. Another thing to take note of here is that the Satin Rabbit can be a bit prone to obesity because of its large and compact body type. In that case, you need to keep it on a strict diet. Make sure to never overfeed this rabbit as it can easily get fat due to its natural plump body type and how it is not the most active breed of rabbit. If possible, try to watch portion sizes. Always see to it that it follows a diet that is high in fiber to minimize the risk of it getting too fat for its own good. The Satin Rabbit is an ideal pet to have because of its generally good-natured personality and its calm and easygoing demeanor. Satin rabbits are generally friendly types of rabbits that can interact and socialize well with children and adults alike, regardless of their age and experience level with pets. Satin rabbits are easy to interact with and are very receptive to getting handled by different types of pet owners so long as they approach it in a friendly manner. A socialized satin rabbit is quite easy to interact with. You can just take it out of its cage, allow it to stretch its legs outside of the enclosure, and handle and cuddle it in a safe and calm manner so as to make sure it feels secured being around you. If you enjoyed this video, kindly press the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on, so that you don't miss out on videos like this. Thank you for watching.